I hate Ubisoft. Yeah, I know, right? This channel has been a lot of things. It's been funny moments. It's been like a diary almost. I write my new entries on the daily, and sometimes I record them, and sometimes I don't. However, with the new release coming up of the remake of Assassin's Creed Black Flag, probably Ubisoft's most highest rated game of all time, including their highest rated series of all time, I am starting to question their business ethics even more. Saying you hate Ubisoft is not new. I'm gonna be honest. I despise Ubisoft. I wouldn't say as much as Blizzard, but it's getting there. To give you a bit of a history lesson, I don't have much experience with Ubisoft. I've played Rainbow Six Siege, which I think is probably their most popular game right now. It's the only thing that's keeping the entire company afloat. I've played the Far Cry series. I've played the Assassin's Creed games all the way up till Unity, for obvious reasons. I've thought about playing some newer ones, but never had experience with Splinter Cell. I've played Watch Dogs. I have a good experience with this company, and I've had a lot of great memories. I like Watch Dogs 2. I like Assassin's Creed 1, 2, 3, Black Flag. I mean, there's some good games in there. You know, I even enjoy Far Cry 2, Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4, even a little bit of Far Cry, Primal, whatever. Point is, I have some experience with Ubisoft. However, they are the leading, I think by far out of all companies in gaming, they are the leaders of the worst business decisions you could ever make. You see, comparatively to, we'll say Activision and Blizzard. Activision and Blizzard just make stupid mistakes internally. They have a lot of bad people in the batch. They have a lot of terrible people in the company. And I feel like if you filter those guys out and you give the developers actually enough time to make the games, I've always been saying that for Call of Duty for a while. If you actually give some of those talented developers time to make games, like you have people like Jeff Kaplan that used to work there. Like, there's some real, genuine talent at Activision Blizzard. However, Ubisoft, dude, their style of making games has been so tired out that I'm shocked that people still buy them. I don't go a day on the internet without seeing somebody talk about how terrible Ubisoft's game design is, and I couldn't agree more. It's a shame how much their world, like open world design, has just fallen off of a cliff. Falling off of a cliff is, I guess, maybe a little bit harsh. I would say it's become stale. It's become mid. It's become mediocre. It's okay. It's so serviceable. It's like a meal that you don't want to eat, but it'll give you nutrition, so you eat it anyways, and it just tastes like nothing. We all know how a Ubisoft game works, right? You watch 30 or 60 hours worth of cutscenes, you look on the map, there's a bunch of shit listed up, bunch of objectives, bunch of things to just do, and none of it has anything to do with the main story. It barely gives you any rewards. It's just a check-off list. That's all most Ubisoft games and their open world design is. It's just check-offs. It's just lists and lists of just slop to do and waste your time, and then you do that for a few hours, and maybe you'll get one good cutscene, and then that's it. That's how the game ends. That's most of Ubisoft's design, I would argue. Taking all of that into consideration, what I'm going to be talking about today is, to say the least, their business practices. Because I would critique their game design, and I might do that in a later video, but today I want to specifically nip this in the bud about how terrible their business decisions are. There's a development in the gaming sphere called Stop Killing Games, and I'm pretty sure you guys have heard it before. Stop Killing Games is a wonderful movement. I suggest if you're a fan of video games and you care about consumer rights, I advise you heavily to support the movement. However, so Ubisoft was one of the biggest driving factors for this whole movement being created. And why specifically? Ubisoft has a series that you may know called The Crew. What do you do in The Crew? Well, it's a online exclusive game where you drive around the Midwest, basically. It's a small creation of the United States within a video game. You drive around, do objectives, race. It's your standard racing game. It had a fan base for a while, and then eventually it kind of fell off or whatever. The problem that occurred when The Crew was shut down was that it did not have any single player features. Now, when that happened, by technicality, Ubisoft just robbed you. Because when they shut the game down, that means there was nothing else left to play. That means those people's $60, $40, however much they paid for the game, is now useless. They basically killed the game right in front of you, and you had nothing to do about it. There was no say-so. There was no asking the fan base. There was no offline patch. They just shut off the game. And now the game is completely defunct. It don't work. And that's a severe problem. And now with the Black Flag remake, I've read articles of people saying that the game that's going to be coming in physical discs, keep that in mind, in physical discs, are not, the full game is not going to be installed on a disc. What the fuck? What is the point in buying a physical disc if the game is not going to be on the disc? That is the entire point of buying physical media, is the fact that the game is on the disc. I know this is such a minute detail. I know some people just don't care. Whatever, the game's not on the disc, just buy it digital. I buy everything on PC. I like to own my games, and I think a lot of consumers out there like to own their games too. Well, when you buy something digitally, you do not own the rights to that game, that copy of the game. They can take that away from you at any moment. You know what happens when you buy a physical copy of the game? You have a fucking right to that physical copy of the game. No matter what happens, you will have the physical disc. And the benefits of the game being installed on the physical disc. That's the problem. And I can't believe that Ubisoft is still doing this shit. After they've been called out on a national level, to stop this. And yet they continue to do it. I swear, if somebody tells me they support Ubisoft, I think you're just a homunculus. I truly do. Like, you have no brain cells moving around in that skull of yours, man. How can you support a company that practices such shitty business practices like this? And that's on top of the loot box systems they've applied in the past. That's including the overpriced skins in Rainbow Six Siege. That's including this, obviously, the fucking, just fucking, just don't install the game on the disc. It's fine. You gotta put, it's a game code key, like Nintendo. It's a GameCube game code key. You pop it in your console, then you download a digital copy of the game. It's so fucking frustrating to me, man. Like, I don't want to hate on Ubisoft. I don't. I think Ubisoft has a lot of potential. They have so many great IPs, and maybe they even have, talented developers there. They haven't impressed me in years, but maybe they even do have talented developers there. I don't know, but all I do know is that I'm tired of games that are coming out that are dying off the spot. I hate that, and I hate the fact that games are coming out on physical discs, and the games are not even on the disc in the first place, because you are literally lying to your consumers. There is no point in having a physical copy of a video game if the game isn't going to be on the disc. You might as well just buy it digitally at that point. What's the point? If the internet goes out, if the world shuts down apparently or some shit, they've been talking about it. I don't know. If that happens, then you're screwed. Then the game won't work. Your $70 that you spent, bucko, it doesn't work. You take it back to Walmart. I don't know. Oh my God. And I feel like I'm the only person who notices these things. Every now and then I'll see a thread on Twitter of people discussing this, and I'll throw my comment in there. I'll throw my reply. I might fight a couple people. But overall, some people get this, but I feel like the majority of it, nobody cares. Nobody's paying attention to this big, massive problem. And it's becoming worse and worse. Man, I don't know. I shouldn't be getting so worked up about this. There are a lot of studios. There's a lot of game publishers out there who are doing great things. They are putting the entire games on the discs. But seeing one specific company who is mostly respected, I would say I don't respect them. I think they make mid games. But I think a company that has a legacy like Ubisoft, who has been around for a long time, who, again, has mostly been respected, to see them get away with these practices just shows me that if another company were to do this, there would be no pushback. And that is a serious problem for the future of consumer rights. I've talked about consumer rights before on this channel, very rarely, because the movement kind of went silent for a while, but it has been growing in recent news. And I saw that Accursed Farms was actually in court, actually speaking to the public about this. So it's good to see that we are finally getting national coverage of developers who are literally killing our favorite games. Anthem just died. Now, don't get me wrong, who cared about Anthem? But it's still sad to see something like that die. Again, these developers shouldn't be allowed to do that. It doesn't take a wizard. It doesn't take a scientist to create an offline mode for an online game just by giving us private servers. That's all you gotta do. I mean, it's not even that hard. It's just they're greedy and they don't care. These people will come out here to lie to your face and tell you that they do care. They don't care. It's just, oh, man. Oh, we live in a society of yes mans and bots, and it is tragic. It's a devastation, to say the least. Nobody is thinking for themselves, or maybe they're too selfish, and they're not thinking of the bigger picture. As long as they just keep consuming and consuming, that's all that matters to them. Well, I'm not going to be one of those people. I'm not going to consume without thinking about the bigger picture, especially when I buy a physical game from a store and I expect the game to be installed on the disc. And if it's not, then I'm going to go get a refund. I'm going to take that shit back. I have a right to do that. So, I don't know. Maybe Black Flag would be good. I've seen some footage. I've seen people talk about it. I've seen people say, oh, yeah, it looks okay. It's a downgrade. To me, it looks like an upgrade. It does look like an upgrade mostly. I'm not really a Doom poster for new video games unless they look that bad. But overall, I mean, it still looks good. It's a shame that it's not going to be installed on the physical disc, which it should be. So, yeah. Anyways, that's all I wanted to yap about. So, see ya.